Hello friends, in this lecture video, we will download MT5 and then we'll try to get a hang of how we can actually place orders and perform other trading obligations on the MT5 trading terminal. Although we care about implementing algorithmic trading or API trading, I want to spend some time giving you familiarity with the MT5 trading terminal, because if you have a good idea about this, you know the various functionalities that are available to you, and pretty much all of them could be replicated using the API. So if you understand a terminal, that might help you with your API trading as well. Alright, so depending on your operating system, you can download the MT5 software. So one very important thing that I want to clarify at the outset is that although you can download the MetaTrader 5 software for any operating system, be it Windows or Mac or Linux, but the Python API integration, which the rest of this course depends on, is only supported for the Windows operating system. And this is a massive bummer because this is the first time I'm seeing that such an important and popular software being supported for only a specific operating system. So I hope MQL5 developers pull their socks and release the Python API for other operating systems as well. But as of now, unfortunately, the Python API integration is only supported for Windows operating system. So what should you do if you don't have a Windows machine? A lot of my students have Mac machines. So what should they do? So a suboptimal option could be purchasing a virtual machine or VPN, having Windows operating system, and then building MetaTrader 5 in that VPN. And I've explained that in the last section of this course. And I encourage that if you are a non-Windows user, do look at that section as well, because purchasing and configuring an AWS Lightsail based VPN is fairly simple and actually very cheap as well. You don't have to spend more than $8 to $10 a month to have a Windows VPN. And I've explained the entire process in the last section of this course. So you may want to look into that if you're using a non-Windows machine. As of now, how things stands, you can download MT5 terminal for any operating system, but the API trading that we are here to learn is only possible if you download MT5 on a Windows machine. Alright, so just click on this button and that will download the MT5 software for you just like any other software. Double click on it, it's an executable file and that will install MT5 on your machine. Alright, so I have installed the software and you can see that this software has installed MetaTrader 5 on my machine. So click on this and you will see something like this come up on your screen. Right? So this is the MT5 terminal. Again, going by your experience of other terminals, this does not look significantly different. Although once you start using it, you will get to realize that it has a lot of features, and the way it has developed this terminal, it is quite easy to work with it. So before we get into exploring the features of this terminal, the most important thing here is the navigator panel. So in this navigator panel, you can see that this is MT5 and right now they have given me this account and they have even given me a user ID, which I am not going to use. But you don't really need to sign up or create an account anywhere. You get a demo account off the bat as soon as you install it. I didn't have to do anything to get this user ID. But it's always a good idea to create a new account. So let us do that. So you can create a new account using a number of ways. You can just click on accounts, right click, and then you can click on open an account. So let's do that. So in your machine, once you do that, you will only see this first option, MetaCode Software Core, because this is the server that we are going to use. So you will have to click on this and then proceed forward. But here you also have the option to search for your broker that is MT5 compliant. And once you search for it, you can select it and that will come here as well. So for example, I searched for Wanda before creating this lecture video. And then I clicked on find your company and then these two showed up here. But right now, don't worry about all this. Like I said, I'll probably create another course sometime in the future where we'll go into the actual trading using MT5. But right now, all we want to do is a proof of concept. So let me click on this MetaCode Software Corp. So once I click on it, I'll click on next. And then it asks me whether I want to open a demo account to trade virtual money without risk or a real account, or you want to connect to an existing paid account. Again, don't worry about these things. Right now, we only want to create a demo account and trade virtual money. So let me click on next. Then in next screen, it asks you for your details. Just put in your first name, last name, email, etc. So let me do that, and then we'll click on next. And voila, we have created a new account. And you can see that we get a virtual money of 100,000 USD, and we get a 1:100 margin, which is actually great. All right, so let me click on finish. And as soon as I clicked on finish, you can see that I have got my new demo account here. So let me click on this. So now you see, as soon as I click on this, the trading session got changed. So now I'm trading using this account. You can even remove this if you don't want it, but it's fine. Okay, so what about the other panels that we see here? So Navigator, Navigator is used to set up a new account. There are other things like, indicators and export advisors, examples. As of now, we don't need them. So Navigator panel is used to create accounts. As of now, just know that. Okay, and then there is a panel called Market Watch, where you get real-time market data for whichever symbols and whichever tickers you are interested in. So right now you can see that by default, it has provided me with most of the major currency pairs. And if you want to remove something, you can do that. If you want to add something, you can add that. Or if you want to add a new symbol here, you can click on this, show symbol list. So you can actually choose whatever asset type you're interested in. So let's say, for example, I want to trade indices. These are all the indices that I can include. And then here you can click on it and then click OK, and then it will be added in your market watch. Then this section is where you can put in all your charts. If you want, you can have just one chart, multiple charts, whatever. I prefer to have, 4 charts, this view, but it depends on you how you want to keep it. So for example, if I want to expand this GBP USD one, so I can just click on the maximize button, and you can see that now all I have is this chart. And now you want to toggle between different charts, you will have to click on the tabs. If you want to get the previous view, just click on this grid icon here, and it will restore your charts to the default view. All right, so let us go back to one of the charts and let me expand it. So GBP USD. So right now the markets are open, and as a result, you can see that the colors are changing. If the colors of this single click buy sell button changes, that means the market is live right now and the prices are changing. And if you find this button to be annoying, you can remove it. Just right click on the chart and just click on one click trading. It would remove this particular button. But I actually like that button, so let me restore it. All right. If you want to change the type of chart, so right now you can see that this is a candlestick chart. If you want to change it to a line chart, you can just click on this line chart. Or if you want to change it to a bar chart, you can click on this. People usually prefer candlestick, so let us keep that. You can also make these basic setting changes by doing a right click and then, choosing whatever you want. There are various things you can change, time frames, whether you want a 1 minute candle, 5 minute candle, 1 hour, 4 hour, whatever. If you want to increase the time frames, if you don't find the time frame that you want here, if I recall, you can right click on one of these available time frames, and then you can customize, and then you can add, remove whatever time frame you want. Again, so just play with this. It's fairly intuitive and easy to work with. If you have worked with any other terminal, you would find it actually more intuitive. So how do we scroll back? Again, click on the chart and you can scroll your mouse, and then this would go back in time. One problem with this is that as soon as the market changes, it comes back to the end of the chart. Okay, so that's a problem with these charts. So to disable this and disable the scroll the chart to the end of tick incoming. All right. So once you do this, you can actually go back in the chart, and then even if the price is changing, you can see that we have still not reached the end of the chart. But let me restore to the defaults. All right. So that's great. Now, what else do we want to explore here? Yeah, technical indicators. Again, that's fairly intuitive. So right now in this chart, you can see that we have CCI as a technical indicator. So one way to remove indicators is simply to right click and delete indicators window. But we don't want to do that. We want to actually change the CCI. So let's see how we can do that. So go to insert, then go to indicators, and then choose the indicator that you want. Where is MACD? So let me go to the custom one and let's go to MACD. Right, so you can see that the MACD has been stacked below CCI. And we have already discussed MACD, so I'm pretty sure you know what this indicator is doing and showing. Now, what if you want to remove this CCI? So you'll have to right click on this actual line. Okay, so if you right click somewhere else, you won't get the option to delete the indicator. Right click on this line and you will get delete indicator option. So if I do that, you can see that CCI is now gone. We only have MACD. Alright, so that is how we add indicators onto the chart. Alright, so nothing very fancy, nothing very difficult, fairly intuitive to work with. And there are a number of YouTube videos about the MT terminal, so feel free to go and explore them. Again, we only want to get a hang of this terminal because bulk of our work is going to be using Python scripts. We don't really use the terminal much, but it's always a good idea to get a fairly good understanding of the terminal. Again, it's very important for me to spend some time about the quintessence of Forex trading. So Forex trading is very similar to equity trading, but there are certain things that you should be familiar with. One thing is the concept of PIP. You'll keep hearing Forex traders talk about PIP. So what the hell is PIP? So by definition, these Forex assets range in the ballpark of 1. Okay, so what's the value of, any major trading currency? Just ignore JPY for the time being. Euro USD is close to 1. GBP USD is close to 1. These values are quite small compared to the price that we see on, equity. So in equity, we have stock price of 100, 200, sometimes even thousands, right? But here we are working with smaller numbers. And therefore, the changes are also going to be small. So if the Euro USD changes from 1.0540 to 1.0541, I'm not going to say that, hey, the price has changed by $0.0001. That is why traders use this terminology PIP. So a loose definition of PIP is the smallest unit that is considered appreciable enough for the trading community. And for most of these major currency pairs, 1 pip is equal to 0.0001, 10 to the power minus 4. And here you can see that the price is usually provided up to 5 decimal places. That is just for added precision. Traders are usually concerned about these 4 decimal places because that is what they call a pip. And you will see that I will also use that terminology quite a bit in the next few lecture videos. So make sure that you have a good understanding of what pip is. Again, the definition of pip could be different for different currencies. Like I said, for most major currency pairs, it is 0.0001. Obviously, it's different for any currency pair that goes with the Japanese yen because the Japanese yen is quite devalued compared to USD, but that's just for JPY, right? For pretty much every other currency pair that we'll trade, it would be 0.0001. And again, this is very important to understand. What does this GBP USD actually means? It means I am buying GBP by selling USD. So I want to pay my counterparty some USD and I want to get GBP in return. Okay. So if I want to buy, how much USD would I have to pay for 1 GBP? It is 1.2182 as of now if I buy it. And if I want to sell 1 GBP, I will get 1.2182 USD. Alright, so it is very important for you to understand how to interpret these currency pairs. Alright, so let us make a trade. Let us buy. Alright, I accept the terms. And you can see that as soon as I clicked here, I got a filled order. Right, so this is the GBP USD. This is the ticket number. This is the timestamp. I have bought GBP by paying USD. What is the volume? Volume is 0.01. Again, I'll explain to you what this volume means in a bit. Right now, I just wanted to show you one click button. You would have to multiply it with a multiplier, and actually we have ended up buying a lot more than you are seeing here. So we'll get to that in a bit. This is the price that we got. We didn't place any stop loss or take profit. And this is the price that we ended up paying. So right now I'm in profit because as soon as I bought GBP, the GBP seems to be going up. And that's why I have made money. And did you see something? As soon as we clicked on this one-click buy button, we got a line here. This is the line that corresponds with the price that we got. Okay, so if you want to set a take profit or stop loss or whatever, you can do right click and then you can actually put in the type of order you want to place, buy limit, sell limit, whatever. So there are a lot of features and a lot of options. You can do a lot of trading on this chart only. But again, I am not comfortable placing trades like that. So if you actually want to use a terminal to place the trade, I suggest clicking on the new order button. So new order, just choose the symbol you want to trade, GEP, USD, whatever, or type instant execution or whatever. Let's go with instant execution. So see volume. When we mention 0.01, it's actually 1000 GBP. So if I put volume as 1, this is actually 100,000 GBP. So whatever volume you put here, you'll have to multiply 10 to the power 5 to it. But that's the lot size MT5 works with. So the smallest volume that you can put is 0.01. That means 1000 is the lowest I can trade, right? And here you can put in stop loss or take profit or whatever. You can see that for stop loss, I can actually use the up and down buttons to set the price at which I want to keep the stop loss. Likewise for take profit, I can actually put the level where I want to set the take profit and I can actually have a very good visual understanding of what I'm trying to do. Okay, so these are things that you can do, fairly intuitive way of placing the orders. But let me close this. I don't want to place an order right now. Just one more thing I want to show you is that in new order, let's go with Euro USD. Okay. If you don't want instant execution, if you want to go with pending order, which you should do, because that gives you a bit more control on your trading. And then here are all the types of orders that you can place. Buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, sell stop, buy stop limit, sell stop limit. These are the 6 different kind of orders that MT5 supports as of now. Again, I think we have discussed quite a few of these orders already, but let's revisit them. How about buy stop limit? So again, volume 0.01 is fine. Price, just put in whatever price. So right now the going price is in the same ballpark, 1.05340. Let's say I want to buy it below the market. So something like this. Stop loss. So what would be a 10 pips stop loss in this case? So right now you see that it is 1.0532. So 10 pips would be 1.0522. So I can actually write it down 220. Alright. What about take profit? Let's have a 20 pip take profit. So it would be 1.0552. So 1.0552. And then you can also put in the stop limit price, whatever you want to. What are different kind of orders? Good till cancel, today, or if you want to specify any specific date. So in Forex trading, people usually go with good till cancel. The order would be live until you manually cancel it, or you can set the time limit of today. If your order doesn't get filled today, it will automatically get cancelled. Alright, so this is how you can place slightly advanced orders. And how do you close off position? On the terminal, the easiest way to close off position is click on the cross button. So right now I have 1000 GBP long position. If I click on this cross button under the trade tab of the toolbox panel of my terminal, it would square off this position. So if I click on this X, you can see that it has squared off my position. And now if I go to the exposure tab, you can see that I've actually ended up making 27 cents on that particular trade. Well, I started with an equity of 100,000. It has become 100,000.27. Alright. If you want to check out the details of every trade that you have placed, go to the history tab and here it will tell you every single trade that you have placed and also the profit details. Alright, so I think this is enough that we need to know about the terminal. From the next lecture video, we'll see how we can perform the same functions that I just showed you using a Python script. So I'll see you in the next lecture video. Thanks. Hello friends. So now that you are familiar with the MT5 terminal, we will now see how we can replicate the same manual steps that we took in the last lecture video and how can we use a Python script to replicate the same thing. Alright, so for that, let me take you to the documentation page so that we know where to start. Alright, so far we had been using the MetaTrader5.com URL to download MT5 terminal, but now we need to go to the website of the parent company, which is MQL5. So within MQL5, there are a lot of things. There is forum, signal, freelance. So right now, we need not worry about all these different sublinks within this page. All you need to do is go to the documentation. And within the documentation page, we need to go to Python integration. All right, so this is the page that is going to be the most useful for us. The documentation is pretty neat, although it could have been better, but I think if you have reasonable experience with Python or any programming language, you should be able to find your way through this documentation and automate your scripts. Alright, so as you can see, it says that MQL5 is designed for the development of high-performance trading application in the financial market. They're patting their back, so that's fine. The syntax of MQL5 program is very close to C++. But don't worry about that. They have a very nice Python wrapper around this MQL5 language, so you don't really need to learn MQL5 for this part of the course. We should be able to automate our trading using Python. Alright, so the first thing that you need to do is install their Python package. And for that, the command is pip install MetaTrader 5. Just be careful about the capitalization of M and T. And if you are already installed MetaTrader 5 some time back and you've not been using it, you may want to upgrade it using this command. Alright, so by now I think you should be fairly conversant with installing, upgrading, uninstalling packages in your machine. So I'm not going into that. Okay, one important thing that I want to clarify here is that the MT5 API is different to the API that most brokers use. So most brokers let your Python script communicate directly with their server, wherever their servers are being hosted. However, in MT5, it's slightly different. Here, your Python will communicate with the MT5 terminal that we just got familiar with in the last lecture video. This terminal is always up and running, and it is always communicating with the MetaTrader server, in this case, the demo server, which is pretty similar to the actual real-time server. All your Python script will do is talk to this particular terminal. And I'll prove it to you in a bit, but right now just know that this is how the communication will happen. So just like you manually use clicks to communicate with the MetaTrader server. So for example, when I click on this buy button, there is a signal that goes to the MT5 server and then it takes action. So all that our Python script will do is that it will remove the manual intervention. The Python script will still be talking to the same terminal, and this terminal will then relay it to the actual server. So that is very important thing to understand, and I hope you are clear about it. And if you've taken any of my interactive brokers based courses, you should be able to relate because interactive brokers uses the exact same technology. You need to have their terminal, which is called TWS, up and running, and then your Python simply talks to that terminal, and that terminal then talks to the interactive broker server. So this is something that is not new. A lot of brokers do use this way to help you implement your API trading. But just know that there's a vast majority of brokers who don't prefer this way. They let you use your Python script or script in any language to directly communicate with the server using what we call HTTPS or REST-based API. But don't worry too much about these things. I mean, it's not that one is more difficult or less difficult than the other. Both have their pros and cons. And if you're comfortable using one, you would be comfortable using the other as well. So, I mean, there's not much difference between the two APIs, but it's very important for you to understand how you are communicating with the actual server. Alright, so with that out of the way, let us go back to the documentation page and let's see how a Python script can start talking to this terminal. Alright, so let us go to initialize. So we can establish communication with MT5 using the initialize function of the MetaTrader 5 package. Alright, so this is the library, this is the Python library, and all that we'll have to do is use the initialize function of this particular library. And then these are the arguments that we'll have to pass. We'll have to first give the path to the MT5 terminal exe file. So you'll have to figure out where is MT5 exe file stored in your system. Once you installed it, then you need to give your account number, your password, and if you recall from the last lecture video, as soon as you created an account, there was a screen that came in with your login and password details. So you'll have to pass this. Server would be the demo server. So it would be metacodes-demo. You can see that the server name is here. And then there is something called timeout. So what is timeout? This is an optional parameter. I think it means that it waits for maximum this amount of time to initialize the connection. If within this time there is no connection, we stop trying. So I think that is what it means. But even if you don't provide this, the default value of 60 seconds would be applied. And port table, don't worry about it right now. Port table is equal to true lets you do some exotic and fancy stuff, but right now I don't want to delve into that. Alright, so this is the function, looks fairly straightforward. You can see that they have provided a sample code here as well. So let us try to do the same thing that they have done here. Alright, so let me copy this import statement and let me paste it here. So I've already installed MetaTrader, so pip install MetaTrader file. Don't forget to do that. So now let me import this. Alright, so no problem. I was able to import it. And this is the line that helps us establish the connection. So let me copy this and let us see what all changes we need to do in this line of code. So what's going on? If not MT5.initialize, so initialize is the function. And these are all the parameters that we are passing. Alright, I don't like the way they have done it. Let's do something. We will always have to provide these information, the login, the password, the server. So why not create a key.txt file and we'll always read that key.txt file to establish connection. Alright, so I'm going to create this key.txt file. So what will happen is that the first line would be the user ID. The second line would be the password. The third line would be the server name, right? And then I'll save it as key.txt. So let me do that. Let me put in the actual values here. Alright, so I have created the key.txt file. So let me import OS and let me change the working directory to the path where I have stored key.txt. Alright, so this is the path where I have stored key.txt. So in Python, if you're working with Windows operating system and if you're giving a path, you will have to give 2 backslashes. And if you don't want that, if you want Python to be able to figure out the path without worrying about forward or backward or number of slashes, just give R here. Python will be able to figure out the path. If I run these 2 lines of code, just keep on looking at this directory. So it will change it. If I run this, you can see now that working directory has changed to the directory or folder where key.txt is saved. Right? So now all that I'll have to do is use Python's open function. It opens file. And all that I'll have to do is give the name of the file. And I don't have to worry about the path because I've already ensured that we are in the same path or in the same folder where key.txt is saved. And then we need to mention what is the mode with which we want to access the file, read mode or write mode or whatever. So in this case, I just want to read the file. I don't want to make any changes. But then this will not kind of store the values that we need in the memory. So for that, you need to use the read function. And then this would read the entire content of the txt file as 1 comma separated string. So then we would need to split it. Use the split function. So now we will have a list of 3 strings. And then the first string is going to be my user ID. The second string is going to be my password. And the third string is going to be the server. So let me store this list in a variable called key. So let me run this line of code. Right, so you can see that we have got a list. Size is 3 because there are 3 things. And I am not showing you, but I have my user ID, my password, and this string called metacodes-demo. So we can now pass these values easily to this function. But I think this function is missing something important. So let me take you back to the documentation and let's see what it's missing. So here they have not mentioned the path where MT5 executable is located, right? So we also need to give this path. Now, where is this path? So for that, go to your PC and then go to your C drive. Pretty much all of you who are using Windows, it should be the same path. So you go to Program Files and then go to MetaTrader 5, and you see this application file here, terminal64. This is actually an executable file, terminal64.exe, and this is the one that we need to give. So this is going to be the path. This whole path, \terminal64.exe. Alright, so this is going to be a static thing in my code. So why don't I create it as a static variable? So here I'm going to create a variable called path, and then this is terminal64.exe. And just like before, let us use the R operator so that Python can figure out what exact path this is. Alright, and now let me make some changes to this particular function because I don't like the way they have done it. So if MT5.initialize, first variable was path, so path is equal to path, this path, alright? So we'll pass this variable. Login is equal to key 0. So key is the list, right? And we are going to use the first element. I hope all of you know how to access different elements of a Python list. Server is going to be key 2, and then password is going to be key 1. Why do I have it like this? Let me put password before server. Alright, if you want to put timeout or whatever, you can do that. But right now I'm leaving everything to default. Alright, so this is all we need to pass. And here, I don't want to print the last error or whatever. If there is no problem with this, just write connection established or something like that. Alright? I mean, you can work with the try except exception handling and use if try do this except MT5.lastError. Just print it out, right? But I leave that to you. All of you are Python pros by now. So that is pretty much it. So let me now run these 3 lines of code and let us see what our code does. Oops, and it looks like it did not print this connection established. What are we doing wrong? Okay, I have figured out. So the thing is that if you go to the documentation, you can see that this login is actually going to be a numerical input. This is trading account number, optional name parameter. Alright, so this is a number, and right now since we are importing it from a text file, Python is converting it into strings. So let me make that change quickly. Here, let me make it int, right? Because this is going to be an integer. I think now if I run this, we should be able to establish connection. And sure enough, you can see that now we have been able to establish connection, and Python console has printed out connection established. This Python script is now connected to MT5, and now you can run any of their API commands and it should be reflected on the terminal as well. This one thing, if you recall, I told you that this terminal needs to be open for any kind of API trading to work. And I'm going to prove that to you. So let me close this terminal and let me now try to run this script and let us see what happens. Because my hypothesis is that the way this API is structured, without the terminal being up and running, we can't establish any connection. We can't talk to MT5 servers because the terminal is the conduit between my Python script and the actual server. So let's see what happens if we run the entire script. Voila! You can see that the terminal just came back from the dead. So essentially what is happening is that when we give this path, a path where this exe or executable file is stored, the Python is actually running that executable, which is firing up our terminal. Alright, so this was all about understanding how the API architecture is for MT5 and how we can use a simple Python script to establish connection. So this part of the code is going to be constant for pretty much anything that we are going to do because we'll always need to establish connection to be able to do anything fancy. Alright, so I'll stop the lecture video now. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot. Hello friends. In the last lecture video, we saw how we can connect our MT5 demo trading account to our Python application. However, as I had previously explained, I'm going to use Darwin-X0 as the broker who provides live trading environment for our trading algorithms. And therefore, in this lecture video, we'll see how you can use your MT5 terminal to make a connection to Darwinex Zero's live trading server and then use your Python trading application to trade or backtest on that live trading environment. So the first thing that you will have to do is sign up on darwinexzero.com. And before we sign up and get our accounts on Darwinex Zero, let me qualify that you don't really need Darwinex Zero account to complete this course. Pretty much everything that I have taught can be completed on MT5 demo server. However, there is a difference between demo server and live trading server, and it's always advisable to have a live trading server to perform your backtesting and see how your trading algorithms would have behaved in live trading environment. But again, just from a theory and proof of concept point of view, you can complete the entire course using MT5 demo server. There is a price associated with setting up your account on Darwinex Zero. So if you feel that you're not ready for that financial commitment, then by all means, skip this lecture and continue working on your MT5 demo server. And another important thing is that if you have any other MT5 compliant Forex broker, you can very well substitute Darwinex Zero with that particular MT5 compliant Forex broker. And you will understand how you can connect that broker's live trading environment with your Python application. All right. So with that out of the way, let us continue to the sign up process. So just click on sign up. So just like any other regular sign up process, you would have to provide an email, a username, and country of tax residence. So let me quickly do that. All right. So I just provided the information that is required here. Then it says that select a trading account. We are going with MetaTrader 5. Please do not go with MetaTrader 4 because then we won't be able to use our Python applications. All right. Just accept the terms and the privacy policy or whatever. And here in I have a discount coupon, click on I have a discount coupon and you can use RQ20 as a discount coupon and it will give you $20 discount on the initial sign up. So if I apply, you can see that the one-time registration cost of 95 euros is reduced to 75. So that's neat. And this is a one-time cost. Going forward, you will be incurred only the monthly cost, which is 38 euros. And sometimes when you are trying to log in during periods like Black Friday, etc., and you can see that at the time of creation of this video, the Black Friday sale was going on. So you can actually use that coupon and get more than $20 discount. Alright, so if you can get your hands on a better coupon, by all means, use that. I have been able to convince Darwinex Zero to give my students an exclusive discount and they have given me this $20 discount. But again, by all means, if you can get a better deal, go for it. So once you provide all this information, you'll have to click on sign up. And I'm not clicking on the sign up because I already have an account created. So on the next page, you would be asked to provide your password and other information, the usual step in a sign up process. And once you do that, your account would be created and you would go into a page which will have your login credentials. So I'm skipping to that page that you will see once you get your login credentials and you log in into Darwinex Zero platform. And as soon as you access the Darwinex Zero platform for the first time, you should see your MT5 login credentials appear on the screen. You can also access it again by clicking on the settings tab. But this is a very important information and I would urge that you store it in a safe place because this information would be used to link your Darwinex Zero account to the MT5 terminal. And let me show you how you can do that. Alright, so this is our MT5 terminal. Once again, go to the navigator panel. We had used this navigator panel to set up our demo account if you recall. So all that you'll have to do is right click on accounts. Choose the open an account option. And here you can see that I already have the Darwinex option here, but most likely you won't have this option in your list of companies. So all that you'll have to do here is search for Darwinex and then click on find your company. And then you will see that this Straight Slide Trading Tech Limited or Darwinex would appear as one of the options. So all that you'll have to do is select this, click on next, and then enter your login credentials that we just saw moments back. So just enter your login password and the server in that case would be Darwinex Live and not Demo because Darwinex Zero gives us a live trading environment to work with. Right? So as soon as you will provide these login credentials and click on finish, you would see that Darwinex Zero would show up as one of your accounts and then you can start trading. So let me forward the video and let me add my account so that I can show you how it looks. Alright, and you can see that I have been able to successfully add this Darwinx live account that I just created. Alright, so fairly straightforward stuff. Let us now familiarize ourselves with the most important part, and which is making a connection to Darwinx live server using our Python program. So this is a code that we put together a few lecture videos back where I showed you how you can make a connection to an MT5 demo server. And if you recall, I had saved my demo server login credentials in a key.txt file. Likewise, I have stored my Darwinx 0 login credentials in a key_darwinx.txt file. So all that I'll have to do is change this key file to key.darwinx.txt file. And I don't have to change the path because I think I have stored this text file in the same location. But if it gives an error, I will fix it. So let me quickly run these lines of code and let's see what happens. Alright, so we have received the connection established message, which is great. So we are now live on the Darwinx 0 live trading server. So let us go to my MT5 terminal and see what is happening. So if you look at my terminal and especially on the left hand side, the navigator panel, we used to be in the demo server. One of these accounts was highlighted, but now you can see that it is now on the Darwinx live. And which account you are in MT5, you can confirm by looking at the title of your terminal, the top line. It will show you which particular server or which particular broker you are connected to. Alright, so you can see now that Python has access to this live trading environment. So we can start doing all the fancy stuff that we plan on doing, like extracting historical data, placing orders, performing backtesting, and all the stuff that we are going to cover in the subsequent lecture videos. So I hope that by now you have a fairly decent understanding of how you can use the MT5 connection API to connect any broker which supports MT5 to a Python trading application. So we'll build on this knowledge and explore other API calls in the subsequent lecture videos. Thanks a lot.